give Hello and welcome to Tennessee Valley this morning on WTMB. I got to do this again. I always do this. My pants right up. They're in the water.
See, I'm okay because I have the ankle boots on, but you know it's pretty soon. I mean, Easter's
coming.
coming.
Thank you, James. James put up the covers.
There you go. See, well that too because Easter's coming in a few weeks,
That's
so
true.
won't be able to wear the boots anymore. And
Easter's coming.
Easter's coming.
Hey, we're prepared.
See, that looks. See,
it's bright.
Make fun of it.
I just know. I told Kim it was a little goofy looking because it was very bright, and it just like.
It's just we needed something bright. All this gloom and despair and the weather it's been a horrible, gloomy winter, Joe. I've whined a lot about it.
It has been a bad, gloomy
I mean,
winter.
it has. I didn't snow not one time. I mean,
Not
we
yet.
had some snow like in the air, but we didn't have any snow.
It hasn't snowed yet, but that doesn't mean it won't snow. Remember,
not.
what was it, March? Was it 13th or 14th? A few years, 93. So we're getting close. It's like
Joe.
Wednesday. So that means it's snowing today.
I know, but
snow.
I mean, back when Jessica was born, or was it Jessica? I don't remember. But Matthew, when I was pregnant with Matthew, it snowed April 1st because that's when Sherry went and.
So there's still time.
But no, it's not going to happen.
All right. Well, at this point, I hope it doesn't because we've
I'm
had a
over it.
chance.
I'm
Now
over
let's
it. I'm
get
over
into
it.
nice weather. We got spring.
Right, it was nice over the weekend.
Coming up.
Sunday was nice, and
Yeah.
so.
And of course, Monday, holy smokes, was horrible.
I know. My hair still hasn't recovered.
It still hasn't recovered from Monday's rain. Yesterday was a nice day. Today's going to be a nice day. Just, not as warm as we would like, but hey, it's it's the first of
if
all.
I get to see sun, I'm happy.
That's exactly right.
I am.
That's right, and most people feel that way. The sun is what kind of makes you have a bright outlook on the day. Although there's a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, but this isn't sun. This is just
Yes,
yellow.
it's sunny. It's sunny.
With,
It's a sunny plant.
Are those sunflowers? What are they
No,
called?
they're daisies of some sort.
Oh. So interesting. But anyway, so we got. Let's do this because we always. I mean, I know I'm interesting, and I know the stuff that I say they want to hear because I'm very interesting, Kim. And if you ever forget that, I'll remind you often
Several
about
times
that.
a day and every day of your life.
However, as interesting as I am, we do need to get to the show.
Okay.
Because we have a big show. Lots of. This is going to be one of those shows, folks, that is just going to astound you. You're going to hear some stuff here with our guest. Of course, Ron Moore's here. He's always astounding.
Right, he's just astounding.
Right, and Ron will be here, of course, with some great history.
So are you going to hush long enough for something else to be
Let
astounding?
me set it up.
Okay.
But we have our wonderful guest. We have Jimmy Kilgore and Ernest Smith back in the house today. We wanted to bring them back. We didn't get to touch tremendously. Those of you remember Jimmy Kilgore on a few weeks back. We didn't get to touch on everything I wanted to, so we decided we needed to have them back so we can tell you a little bit more about their story that is going to completely blow your mind.
I mean, it's too early in the morning for mind blowing.
It
Joe.
is.
Are you
It
sure?
is.
Are you sure they can handle it, honey?
Well, you know what? They can handle it.
All right,
It's Cleveland residents.
I know.
It's the
they're
truth.
sturdy-
You can't
they're
handle the
sturdy group.
truth.
You are a sturdy group.
Yeah, it's but yeah, it's very in all in being serious here. It is very and it's heartwarming as well. The final outcome that you'll hear too.
Flooring and heartwarming.
Yeah,
It's
in
a
the
Hallmark
same.
movie.
Yeah, it's in the same, all in the same vein. But again, the interesting one will say that we're going to be back with more of our show after this commercial We'll be right back.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here. Doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning on WTMB. Again, Joe and Kim Palo with you. It is middle of the week Wednesday. Hope you're having a good day. As you can see, we are now joined by our friends Jimmy Kilgore and Ernest Smith. Of course, Ernest is Jimmy's dad. We had them on, like I said, a few weeks ago, and we talked about Jimmy, a little bit about Jimmy. And of course, Jimmy is a Cleveland native, graduated from Bradley Central High School, graduated from Cleveland State Community College. Or you're still at Cleveland State. You haven't graduated yet?
No.
Not yet, but you're going to. And
Graduate in May.
You graduate in May.
Right.
And Jimmy is the editor of the Foothills Crier, which
And
is
publisher, don't they
and
publish?
publisher, exactly. Well, Ernest, his dad, and Jimmy publish it, and he's the editor. And this is a paper, a local paper. It's free. Can be picked up at area businesses, and we'll tell you about that in a few. We'll tell you how you can get some sponsorship in here if you'd like to. But Jimmy puts this together, and it's put together every month. Is it every month?
Yes.
Good one.
Yes, sir.
And just lots of information. It's got some recipes in here, but
It's the Foothills Crier.
Foothills Crier. That's what I said.
Oh, I didn't hear.
Of Southeast Tennessee, serving Southeast Tennessee. But let's talk a little bit here, folks, and I'm going to let Ernest and Jimmy tell you their story. Their story was documented by WRCB Channel 3 in Chattanooga a few years back, and they did a documentary about Jimmy's life and of course how Ernest and Jimmy got together. So Ernest, first of all, let me say both of you guys, thank you guys, Jimmy, Ernest, for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
If you will, and I know we talked about it before we went on air, and I wanted to ask you if there'll be any questions that you may not want to have to answer or think about answering, but you told me anything is fine because it's been a long time, and you're able to talk about it now.
I can handle it.
So I want you to tell us, if you will, Ernest, how you and Jimmy came to be together and your story and how it played upon you and Jimmy getting together.
Well, we need to go back a few years to January 1st of 1990. I had 2 children that were killed in a house fire. The origin of the fire is questionable. Those children's mother, last I heard, was in a mental institution.
Okay.
Well, I took a leave of absence from work after I got the children buried. Coming across the mountain early in the morning, I got on my CB radio. I was asking some of the truckers where would be a place to pull in and get some breakfast. I was on AP 40 in the vicinity of the Coca-Cola plant.
Okay.
One of them advised me to go up to the next exit, go to the right, top of the hill. There was a restaurant there called Pine Gap. So that's where I went. Jimmy and his mother were there. His mother was a waitress.
Okay.
And his grandmother was running the place.
Okay.
Well, I met them, and I guess you could say things went on. I went back to North Carolina, and the job that I had me routed all over the southeastern United States. I kept in very close contact with them. Things went on till June of 1990. We closed the plants down for the 4th of July, last week of June. But a week before that, I had another son, 9 years old, Ernest Jr., that was shot and killed by a teenager playing with his daddy's pistol. I got him buried, come back across the mountain, got back in contact with James and his mother. I stayed here during the 4th of July holidays. Come time to start the plants back up, I called the company and told them to replace me, that I would not be back. And I've been here ever since.
Been here ever since. Now, Ernest, I have got to ask you, where did you find the, I don't even know what the word is, to in yourself to be able to overcome all of that? That's a lot. You know, they say that he'll never give us too much that we won't be able to bear, but that sounds like a lot to bear in a very short time.
The explanation for that, Joe, is sitting here beside me.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
So when you started with Jimmy, he had disabilities, and that the prognosis wasn't good. I mean, they didn't think he would walk right or talk. In a sense,
they said he had 0 chance of ever functioning in any way. The neurologist, Chattanooga, suggested he be institutionalized.
Right.
Well, my comment was, if you can help him, let's just see what I can do.
Right.
I've had a lot of help from teachers and the community, but I'm very proud of where he's at today.
Well, we're all proud of Jimmy.
I know Jimmy is, I mean, he's on Facebook. I mean, and he's here at the school all the time. He was at Bradley. Joe just was sick because he wanted him to play football.
Oh, I did.
He couldn't stand it with Jimmy.
Did.
Because Jimmy, you went to school with our son Matthew.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember Jimmy as a freshman, and I saw Jimmy walk in the room with you. And I saw him walk in the orientation, and I thought, man, that young man needs to be. I asked Matthew. He said, well, I don't know. He said, that's Jimmy Kilgore. He said, he may. I said, boy, I tell you, when you saw him as a little boy, did you ever think he was going to grow into this mountain of a man that he is now?
Well, I wasn't expecting him to be quite this long.
That's like Jethro feeding Jethro. Matthew was a mouthful to feed, so I'm sure, Jimmy, that you're a mouthful to feed too.
Yeah.
Jimmy might have a few words that he'd like to say.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you, Jimmy, too. You know, of course, Ernest is your dad, and he helped you to be where you are right now today. I know he's a big help. He takes you all around everywhere. Wherever they see Jimmy, you're going to see Ernest. And so tell us, how do you feel about what your dad did and coming in and taking you and doing all the things that he's done with you to this point?
Well, I feel pretty good, and most of my time, sometimes we argue, but other times we don't.
That's good.
Us too.
Yeah, I think every son and dad argue a little bit, but not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
And he's helped you with a lot of what you do, because I know you've got a lot of interest. And your dad has done some wonderful things along with the paper. You've also shot video. You shot video for us before. You shot video for Cleveland State, the basketball team. And at Bradley, you did that as well, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
And so there's a lot of things that you've been able to do because your dad Ernest has really kind of helped you in those areas.
The Banner just had an article, right? About the Banner.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Banner did an article about Jimmy, and of course there's a war. Well, we've got some stuff over there, and I didn't know we'd be able to show it on TV, but Jimmy's been given numerous awards through the area, around this area. Everything. Let me also tell you that Jimmy is a member of Phi
Theta Kappa.
Theta Kappa of Cleveland State, and your honor roll, the Honor Society.
Yes.
He's also received letters of recognition for his accomplishments from every president that's been in office from Clinton Gore to present.
Wow.
He's also received letters of recognition from the Canadian Prime Minister, numerous senators. Calvin Brooks proclaimed him a hometown hero.
Mm-hmm.
Let me add in something that we didn't cover, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy's biological father, at first signs that Jimmy was handicapped, walked out and left. That's the best thing ever happened. His loss is my gain.
Absolutely. And the best thing to happen to Jimmy, I believe, too, because, Jimmy really and truly is a very intelligent young man, functions well, and all of that, I believe, is a direct result of what you've done for him, and of course all the help you've had with the state, with different people in the community. But you can't put in somebody's mind intelligence, and this young man's got it, and he had that.
Born there.
Exactly, and he had that when he was born. You just brought it out.
Right, you just developed it and made sure that it was developed.
Mm-hmm.
Sure
but
did.
we just.
Now that's also. Everybody's giving me all the credit. His mother played a major role in this. She worked with him just as much as I have.
Sure, I bet so. Yeah.
Well, it seems like you guys were just a love match, that it didn't take long at all for you to have a little spark in your eye when you met her.
I've been around, let us say, challenged people all my life. I had an advantage there that his other relatives did not have.
Right.
But all of them has played an important part.
Sure. And let's also say we need to let folks know that when you left your job that you left to kind of help with Jimmy and his mom, we're not talking like just a job at a plant somewhere. Ernest, you were an engineer, if I'm not mistaken.
I was over the plants in 2 states.
Okay, so you had a pretty good job.
I was on salary. I was on the road a whole lot. Of course, I got paid mileage for my vehicle. But as far as giving that up, I do not have the first regret whatsoever.
Yeah, and we've talked before, and you've told me that before, and I could just see it. And the amount of time that you have invested in Jimmy has made him obviously this well-developed young man that's, as we said, very intelligent. He's got a lot of things that he does. I mean, everything from the newspaper to video. I know you did that for a while too. You had your own production company, I believe. many, many years ago.
But now, also, Joe, when I first came up here, I went to work at Carpenter's,
Okay.
making picture frames. I did that until October of 1993, at which time I had a massive heart attack. After the heart surgery, and Dr. Bell in Chattanooga told his mother to call in the family, he cannot live through it. Well, I did. I went ahead and took retirement, and might I add that after being in ICU 4 weeks, I unhooked myself and walked out.
Oh my goodness.
But I took retirement, and that gave me more time to devote to him.
Right. And you've devoted your entire life to Jimmy.
Well, Jimmy, what are your plans? I know you're getting ready to graduate from Cleveland State. Am I correct, in May?
Yes.
And
yes, ma'am.
What kind of plans are you looking at after that? What are your dreams, in a sense? I know that you've accomplished so much. You have to have some dreams of what you want to go from here.
He has offered a scholarship to go to Lee.
Wonderful. And you're gonna go, I'm sure. That's a wonderful place, buddy. And I'll tell you what, they've got a wonderful video department. And I know the guy real well there, media department. Ron Gilbert, Dr. Ron Gilbert. You need to see him as soon as you get on campus.
And also, Joe, here at Cleveland State, I not only bring him to school, but I accompany him. If I'm not in the classroom with him and the instructor, I'm right outside.
Now, do you help him with some of his schoolwork? I mean, I know those of us that are older now, it's kind of passed us by, some of this.
Some of this math.
Yeah, but
I tutor him on a daily basis. And just fortunately, I'm able to do that.
Yeah, that's great. That's just, it's a phenomenal story. And again, so many roadblocks that were there for you as a person, overcoming those. As we said, if it weren't for those, you wouldn't have known Jimmy. And who knows where Jimmy would be, and who knows where you would be at this point.
So roadblocks are made to be torn down.
There you
They
go.
are. And so I'm understanding that you had 3 children that passed away before they were even into their adult years at all. I mean, your son was 9 years old, I think, and then earlier. But then you had something with the tornadoes as well.
Exactly.
Well,
I mean, I'm telling you, you have withstood a lot. You have withstood a lot in your life.
You're an oak, Ernest.
In the tornado, Jimmy's sister, or half-sister, lived next door to us. She was killed in it.
Her name was Candace Satterfield, and she died from a blunt force trauma to her head, and she was 40 years old.
I know you missed her.
Our place was badly damaged, but James and I hand-built that house ourselves. The only reason it stood, when we built it, we put straps in the walls, and it was greatly reinforced.
Wow.
Took part of the roof off, but the rest of it stood.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, as you can see, one thing after another. But again,
But always walking through it and coming
every
on the
time,
other side.
every single time. And there's something to be said. There's a lot to be said for that.
So, Jimmy, what are you planning this summer? Have you got any big plans for the summer?
Working in the newspaper,
Okay.
and working at the media and above else that so I got interested into the media.
Maybe raising a garden.
And raising a garden.
Raising a garden.
Well, that's beautiful. Now you're going to keep this paper going when you go to Lee and everything, aren't you?
And I want some tomatoes.
Yeah, that's right.
This summer.
That's right. Well, let me tell you folks something too. Now, tell us, Jimmy, where can people pick up, because this is free. It's absolutely free, and there's a lot of good little stories in here, informations. Look at that. Here we got Inkworks in there. This is where our son Corey, they're one of the sponsors of it. And but there's lots of stories in here, recipes, just different things from people that have submitted it to Jimmy. Here's from Kevin Brooks, a little letter here from Kevin Brooks. And you can be a part of this. You can get a little ad in this to help this paper to be published every month.
Now, whose recipes are those?
Yeah, whose recipes are those?
These are our recipes.
Oh, your recipes. All right.
His grandmother wrote a recipe book just a few years before she passed away. That book was handed down to Jimmy, and that's where those recipes are coming from.
And Jimmy, you can now I'm telling you, big and strong. These recipes will help you to be big.
The one I'm looking at right here, this shepherd pie, is the one I'm looking that I like right there. Look at that.
You know, me, I'm looking for the dessert.
You're looking at the cherry crunch right there.
Cherry crunch. I'm always for dessert first.
Let me add, we are already working on the April edition.
Okay.
Sure.
It's going to be sort of a 2-year anniversary of the tornadoes.
Okay.
Then and now.
Yes.
And we got photographs that no one else has.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that'll be a great addition.
And they will be in the paper.
Wow.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you took some photographs of the devastation right there, and then your daughter's devastation at her house right after it happened.
I've got a photograph of them recovering the body. Officer tried to take my camera away from me.
He didn't realize that was your daughter, though, right?
Well, he didn't know that was my daughter, number one. Number two, he didn't know that I was a reporter.
Right.
I informed him. I said, number one, that's my daughter. Number two, I'm a reporter. Number three, I'm standing in the middle of the road. Mm-hmm. And you better eat another pot of beans before you try it.
Somehow I don't think he'd have gotten that camera from you, even with another pot of beans.
No, even without.
But let me, real quick now, I want folks that may be interested, let me just tell you what the rates are here, and then I'll get you a phone number. But to be part of this paper, the Foothills Crier, a quarter page ad is just $8. $8 for a quarter page ad. Half a page is $15. Full page is $25. Photos with the ad, 10% discount on 2 or more ads. So you can save a little money if you do a couple of ads in the paper. And I got the phone number right here. If you'd like information about how you can get your ad in this paper, business card, or whatever it may be, you give Jimmy and Ernest a call at 284-4026. That's 284-4026. Or you can email them at foothillscrier, all one word, at gmail.com.
And Crier is C-R-I-E-R.
Yes. C-R-I-E-R.
At Gmail.
And
you can get you on Facebook, can't you, Jimmy?
Facebook too.
Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy's on Facebook as well. So if you want to like him and be a friend, he's there, and he loves to be on the computer.
We have a couple of advertisers that are paying 3 months at a time. We have one advertiser in there that has paid a year in advance.
There you go.
Well, those are the good ones to have, I'm telling you.
and I think the great thing is that this is put together by Jimmy and Ernest. This isn't some big conglomerate putting something together and trying to get you to buy a newspaper. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing to pick it up. And like I said, there's a lot of good little stories in here, and like I said, recipes and just things that are going on that you may not even have known, but Jimmy knows. And he's got in here, look, the Village Bake Shop's got a nice ad. Those are great folks out there, of course, all the Gilberts. And then you've got just some neat things in here. And it gets every month, you've got recipes, but obviously the stories change up in the little articles, but you got recipes in every article, every edition, true?
Yes, sir, that's right. But now, we've talked about me. Sitting beside me is the hero of this story.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. First of all, we got to talk to you a little bit last time, and you told us some of the things that you were doing. Kim just asked you what you want to do. What's your dream in life to be? If somebody said to you right now, Jimmy, you tell me right now what you want to be, and you're going to be it. Just tell me, what do you want to be? What would you tell them?
Well, my life's ambition is to be a journalist.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good ambition.
Yes, it is. And you're off to a very good start. So a journalist, okay, all right. A journalist and owning your own paper down the road? I mean,
yes.
You got one, but I mean like a...
So do you do work on the computer? Do you do a blog? Is there some things that you are writing on the computer?
Sometimes I socialize on Facebook, and I do work on the computer in the Foothills Crier, writing articles and about the stuff that is interested. And what happens is that if there's someone interested, we write the articles and put it into our computer. Like the one we talked about, the meteor did hit Russia.
Yes, it did.
And it's in Chelyabinsk, Russia. And it's a DA 2012 asteroid. It has shattered 1 million square feet of glass.
I know.
And 1,000 have injured or more. And a lot other things happened, including the autism bill that Representative Brooks just represented.
Yes, yes.
Well, that's an interesting subject for, because that was something none of us saw coming. They didn't even see it coming there. You can imagine being in Russia. They thought were going to be attacked, that it was some type of a missile. They didn't know.
Right.
But yeah, that boom from it broke all that glass. I didn't realize it was that. How many square feet or linear feet did you say that was?
1 million.
Holy cow, that was a lot of glass that broke that day.
Well, he wrote an article about the meteor hitting in Russia. But he did some comparison work. The meteor crater in Arizona that hit 100,000 years ago. He did some comparison there, and other meteors that have hit the Earth over a period of time.
Right.
And was making some comparisons, and the title of his story was, "Could it happen here?"
See?
NASA says yes, it can.
Sure.
You know what I'm getting too from this newspaper that Jimmy's putting together, he's also getting a lot more knowledge about things just by doing some investigative research and finding out, like what you said about the meteors, because he's rattling off some figures and things here that he obviously did a lot of research.
We're printing articles that other papers are not.
That's
there
right.
you go.
Well, Joe, we're just about to run
Yeah,
out of time.
we're about done.
I'm so glad to see you again.
I am. I'm so glad. And we are proud of you too, buddy. We're proud that you live here with us in this community and the things you're doing and what you've already done and what you're planning to do for the future.
And we're glad that God brought Ernest into your
absolutely.
life.
And I know you are too.
Well, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
You too. Absolutely. You did. You got a very, very well-rounded and smart individual, and that you recognized that. And that takes a special person.
In reality, if I hadn't took on the job of taking care of and raising James, I would have probably went to start raising his man.
That's the truth.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I totally agree with you on that.
But thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you
and
both.
We'll have you guys back again, maybe in a few months, and see how your paper's doing, and see how you did on that garden for the summer and all the rest, because I know that we're all ready for summer. I sure am. That's for sure.
We are.
Well, I'm also training him to drive the tractor.
There you go. There you go. That's good work for you.
Well, we appreciate you guys so much. And again, we'll have you back in a few months. Thank you for being with us, Jimmy. You're a good man.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Ernest. Appreciate you,
Jeff.
buddy. All right, folks, we're going to be back. We got Ron Moore in the house and more of Tennessee Valley This Morning when we return after this. Stay tuned.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100. Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning.
That didn't take. That just come here all of a sudden.
Just like
now,
that.
See, I've never been this far away from Ron. I missed you, Ron.
Oh, I know.
Next to him.
I'm awful close to him,
I know,
but I'm
telling
used to
you.
being close to him on Football Friday.
That's
We're
right.
close together.
Don't touch my leg like you
I was going to say, I can't because people will see here. So we'll just say, did you see the game last night? Sure, yeah. But anyway, so Ron Moore has joined us, of course, our resident historian, and you know Ron and Debbie Moore every Saturday, 10 to noon on Whoop Radio 99.9 with Old Town Cleveland. They take your calls. They talk about interesting topics like he's going to do today with us. And so what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about the whole old homes of Bradley County.
The old homes.
Okay.
Deb's writing a book about
She
it too,
is.
but
Absolutely.
there's some interesting facts I wanted to get out before then. And before I do that, before we run out of time, the documentary that Candy Creek is finished.
Okay, good.
And we are going to show that March 24th at 3 p.m. at Walker Valley High School. It's absolutely free. Come
right,
up.
guys. It's
and
free.
the first
Walker
public
Valley.
viewing. First time anyone will see it will be at Walker
Is
Valley.
this a Saturday or a Sunday?
It's a Sunday afternoon.
A Sunday afternoon, guys, after church. Go get you something to eat. Go to Walker Valley. This is March the 24th at 3 o'clock. It's free, and they've done a documentary. The whole Moore family has been involved with a few other. You've adopted a couple of people along the way.
Yeah, we do have
but
some
it's
adopted
on
people.
Candy's Creek.
No, not Candy's Creek. Caney Creek.
Caney Creek.
Caney
Well,
Creek
see, I
up in-
thought all this time I thought it was about Candy's Creek.
It's a little community in Polk County,
Okay, all
and
right.
it's about the TVA Dam.
Okay.
TVA taking over the Parksville dams from the Tennessee Electric Power Company, and the people who lived there, who lived in company homes and worked there in the river. It's a pretty unique family. Only 5 or 6 of them still alive.
Yeah.
So.
See?
And those homes are there.
No, they're gone. The
No, they're gone.
foundations are.
The
yeah,
foundations
just
are
the
there,
foundations
right.
there, and pretty interesting once you see that. But
Yeah.
Well,
but that,
good. That'll be interesting.
And Joe and I have talked, and we're pretty sure that we're going to show that sometime
Of
after the
course
24th.
we are.
We're going to show it
After
here.
the 24th,
Yeah.
On,
we got
WTMB.
dibs after that.
So you make your way to Walker Valley, and it's going to be in the auditorium there?
Yes,
I guess?
in the auditorium.
In the auditorium, and then, of course, we'll be showing on TMB after that, but the
that'd be a great
premiere
Sunday
will be
afternoon.
at the
Yeah,
Walker Valley.
it will be good.
That
I
will
think it'll
be.
be good. And a lot of the characters in the from the movie is going to be there.
Oh, wow.
There's one lady who broke her hip lately. One passed away already.
Right.
And so some of the others will be there and their families. John Cook wrote all the original music for the documentary. So, it's pretty
A lot
good.
of work, yeah.
Pretty good for
For
our
a home
first
time,
try,
that's
yeah.
right.
So,
Good for you,
but
well, good.
maybe we'll win a major award.
Yeah,
we'll be calling you Otto Preminger after
Yeah,
this.
I don't care what you call me as long as you send money.
That's right, send money.
I want to go and get here.
Stay modest.
Don't
You're going to be humble about
Yeah,
it. No?
I'll always be humble. Yeah. Money doesn't buy you happiness.
No, it doesn't.
It does allow you to shop in more places.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Go ahead, Ron.
But
Tell us about the older homes in Cleveland.
Every city has this problem. We have concreted over and torn down sometimes some of the most beautiful structures and things of that nature in the world. But surprisingly, there's a lot of old homes still survive because they stay in private hands. They're not in the downtown area. And of course, we all know going up and down Ocoee Street how beautiful those homes are. Those are turn of the century homes. 2 centuries ago now.
Right, 2 centuries.
Actually, in the 1800s, a lot of those homes were built out there. They're gorgeous. They've been well taken care of. They're well recorded. There's great history on them. We'll be part of Deb's book and about that. But be surprisingly that there's a whole lot of other homes in Bradley County that meets the criteria.
Right.
Deb's first are looking at homes that were built in the 1800s, and then we'll start the 1900s. And it's according to how many homes we find, and the key thing is we'll be finding good stories to go with them. We have to have a story of something like that. But surprisingly, the Assessor of Property records show that there's over 200 homes in Bradley County that were built before 1900. Still standing on the tax roll. Now, some of them may be in very, very poor shape.
Right.
And what we plan to do is take a picture of the poor shape and show you what they were in their heydays.
Right.
That will be our attempt. We actually have some houses that are, some could be as old as 193 years old right now, 1820s.
Wow.
I know of 2 homes that probably fit that category today, one up on Walker Valley Road. And then there's, of course, Judge Martin's house down on Dalton Pike, where the Cherokee Indian, the treasure of the Cherokee Indian, you won't know it when you drive by. A lot of these older homes, you will never recognize it. There may be a log cabin inside of it.
Right, because they
have remodeled, they've added on, and the home down on Dalton Pike has white vinyl on it.
Oh, see.
With a red tin roof. But when they pulled the floor up and you've seen how the floors were put together the way the style the Cherokees did, and they used chestnut, and the state archaeologist comes in and looks at it and says, these logs are 1830s, 1820 logs.
Wow.
So there's several of that. So there's a lot of old homes. Right down the street from me, from where I live, is a 1880s house. And you drive by, it looks like a little old white frame house. It's not this big, huge mansion, but there was a lot of people. It was the Haven Farm down off South Lee Highway. So there's all kind of outbuildings, and we believe one of the outbuildings. Something got you?
My contact. It's crying.
You do?
I do.
You've got the sweetest
what it is because I'm sitting here thinking, gosh, I want to touch his leg, and I can't because we're on. So I'm crying about that. Yeah, you better move over. I've got this urge.
But so that little house is sitting there, and we understand that one of the outbuildings, one of the outbuildings out there, actually was taken here from Bradley County and went to Knox Berry Farm. Is that the way you say it?
Oh, yeah.
In California. So we're trying to find out more about
Well,
that.
you know what's amazing though, and when you think about it, those houses have lasted through all the storms that have come through from that time period to now. So they're built they're still there.
A brick house.
Yeah, a brick house.
Oh, that's
and the ones with the wood and the straw blow right over. But the brick ones, isn't that just? It's kind of and it's the way they're built, obviously. But you think about it, we should take a lesson to what they did back in those days, because some of them would still be standing maybe through these storms.
Go out Bates Pike, or out Benton's Pike. Excuse me, I get my Pikes.
Pike's right.
Benton Pike, not Bates. And turn at Chatta Valley there.
Right.
You know where the golf course is? If you take a left there, the first house up there on the right has a lake by it. That's a very old house. It actually has some cedar poles, and it's at the rafter, not solid lumber, but cedar poles. You go on up that Chatta Valley Road all the way up to Charleston, you'll see some really gorgeous old homes. There's one up on the left that if I win the lottery, I'm going to go try to buy it. It was Colonel Mee's house. It's it's Civil War or pre-removal back that. Oh my goodness! It's got the original brick smokehouses and things out back.
Oh,
It
wow.
is gorgeous.
Wow.
Right across the street down there, there's other beautiful old homes, and these are all over Bradley County.
See, now, did you guys just start roaming around? Because I mean, you do know a lot of history and you found a lot of places. Is that what you do on your weekends? As you guys start roaming?
We have done a lot more of it recently,
I'm
where
sure
we
you have.
go
I'd
out
like
and
to
look at
hang out.
houses.
I mean, we're going to follow them. Let's go. We'll say, there goes Ron and Debbie. Let's follow.
Something we're going to do in the book, which I think is just a brilliant idea, and I helped create it. So
It was brilliant.
No, we're actually going to have a number at each house. We'll have like a number 1. Then we're going to have a map that you could use as a driving tour for you to drive. Now remember, these are all private properties. You won't be able to go in.
Right.
But you'll be able to see where these are with GPS locations, and that way people can see where they are. And it's just amazing what they're. And when the cabins are, the little church next to my house is actually a log cabin. Also, it's the oldest Methodist church in Bradley County.
Wow, really?
And we know it has been moved from its original location.
A bit.
It only got there to 1900. Okay, so it's not real old yet or anything. But now, if you think you have an older house, some of the things you first should do, if it's been in the family a long time, is just find out simple things like Granddaddy moved in here when he was 5 years old.
Right.
And he died when he was 100, and you can sort of do the math.
Right,
You
do
say,
the math.
well, he moved in the house in 1890, or he moved in the house
Right.
in 1905. Well, you sort of assume the house is at least that old then.
Right.
So you can back up there. And old story. Now, if you just go up and look at your deed for your house, you will not know how old your house is unless you bought it from the original person who built it. Say they built it in 1880 and that stayed in that one family. All a deed will actually say is there's a structure here and it's this big and things of that nature.
Okay.
It will not tell you who built the house. Now,
Really, I would have thought that they would keep
you
that
can
on
go
record
back,
somewhere.
and now there are some great records in the assessor of properties offices up there. And when they have time or something, you could probably request some information on it. There's Troy Dixon, who passed away several years ago now, done some excellent work for them. He's got a file of older houses that he took pictures of, made notes of, and there's some people that used to go out and they used to have these little cards to give a property. Someone wrote excellent notes on the back of them. So all that research, but it's, the best thing is going to be is your family. Then, if you think you have a really old home, you can talk with the historians around town, not just Deb and I, but you can go to a lot of people who can walk up and say, well, that's a 1920 style house, that's a 1913. A lot of times the architect, you can look at the brick, you can look at the foundations. If you get underneath there and there's big old logs underneath there, pretty well. They tore one down right behind the downtown post office, within the last year or so. One of those little gray houses that sit there on the rise, you come down the hill. One of those was a log cabin, and they had built around it.
And they
of
tore
course, I'd love to have the logs out. They wouldn't like to have 100, 200-year-old logs.
What do they do with stuff like that when they
usually
take
it just
to
gets scrapped and burned unless someone comes along and says, hey, I want those logs.
Wow.
Then if you find one you think has some really great history in it, and someone says, well, we even think the Cherokee lived here. There is a state archaeologist. You can't get him here every day, but you can.
He's digging somewhere.
Well, he is digging somewhere, and they'll come in and they will check it out. And like I say, the state archaeologist went down to the thing on Benton Pike, and the Cherokee Indians sent people from out of the Eastern Band down and looked at it, and and with all the records and histories, it's now on the National Trail of Tears driving list, which was just added this year. So
now, how old does a home have to be to get put on the list? How
on what list? In the book?
Yeah.
Well, Deb said that the youngest house will be 1940.
Wow. Okay.
But it looks like that the first book. I mean, this may be two books now. I don't know because it may be the oldest house has come back. Like I say, we're going to tie them to good stories.
Right.
If we know who lived there and who built the houses, the Roth house, that's the big house there as you go under the underpass there on Inman Street, and it sits up on the hill.
Right.
It was owned by Mr. Roth, who was the owner of the copper mines in Polk County and was the richest man in the state of Tennessee at one time.
We don't know our history.
That was built by a man named Thomas Callaway, actually, but he didn't build that himself, Thomas Callaway. Thomas Callaway built a lot of the houses in the downtown area. And apparently, I would think the Hardwick family may have hired him to build a lot of those houses.
Right.
So these are great stories you do. But like I say, if you want to have your house included or considered, all you have to do is look through your, find a good story. If you have a picture of your grandfather sitting there in front of a Model A, and then we can take a picture of the house today, even though it's about to fall down, we will do that.
Right.
And so, but just, like I say, drive Chatham Valley Road, and you'll see a bunch of older houses up through there. Some of them might be little bitty farmhouses, and some of them might be the big looking houses. And the brick house, you'll see it on the left. When you go up on the upper end of Chatham Valley Road, when you pass by it, you'll know that's Colonel Mee's house, and you'll just say, "Oh my goodness!"
Well, the property, the Chatham Valley Golf Course you talk about, the property there, that the clubhouse, that looks like an older home.
I think the clubhouse is gone now.
Oh, is it? Okay,
I think it's been moved now.
Oh, did they?
But it was an older home.
Yeah.
Yes, I think they've torn it down now. I'm
Really?
not sure.
That's a shame.
The city of Charleston. Drive around Charleston up there. There is many, because you have to remember, this is where the Indian Agency was, and some of the first houses. Remember, the Indians didn't get moved out here to 1938, so the white man didn't get to move in here a lot. There had to be a reason for you to move in here. So that's why if there's records of a white man owning a house in here, most likely he may had a Indian bride.
Right.
That allowed him to get in here, or they was something to do with the land surveying, so there was some reason to be here.
Some
So, but
trade.
the Henniker house, a very famous house up there, and then, just go up there and drive around right around across from the old high school, drive around that area, drive all the way up on the hill, and you'll see a lot of older houses up there. There's a church there that was there during the Civil War, and you can still see where the horses chewed on the side of the window. So, history is everywhere here, and we talk about preserving it. Like I say, we've concreted a lot of it,
And put up a parking lot.
Put a parking lot, yeah. We tore down a beautiful courthouse
Right.
and put up what I call the lipstick with the pig. Pig with lipstick, excuse me.
Well, and I don't want, and we don't want to. Well, maybe we do want to make fun of our courthouse. We really don't. But when you look at it, the way that looks in the front, it looks like a drive, like a parking lot.
Parking garage.
Yeah, parking garage, because it looks like you drive up and you would.
It was a very modern building
back
when
in
it
the
was
day,
built,
yeah.
and that's what happened to our architecture when
But
we're America.
But a good pressure washing would help it.
Ray County was able to save their courthouse.
Yeah.
Yes,
Meigs
beautiful.
County made an addition onto it and made that old courthouse look very, very nice. Now, could we have done that? Sure. Would it cost more? I don't know. We had even if we had done it in 1960, by today we would have had to still done some type of remodeling because of the electrical needs and the internet and all that other needs there.
And then to bring it up to code every time. I can understand. And then we did go through that transitional period, and America was, and it's still a very new country. And sometimes we didn't appreciate. I think there's been a real revolution of now that we're making history, because we didn't really have one, to where all of these other countries, they're so old, the European countries, we're babies compared to them.
Oh,
and we
yes,
really
yeah.
didn't value that. But now there's been just kind of that looking of we needed to preserve it, and sometimes it was just too late. We had a habit of just mowing it down and putting.
We have a historical district, there in downtown too.
Yes.
We have, of course, Centenary Avenue is very famous for what's down that street, but Centenary is old and thing. But out in the county, them old farmers, there's some old houses out there, and like I say. Well, it may be a 4-room shack that we put in the book, but it's going to be because we have a great story to go with it and who it was and people you'll know and who developed this area. Down Dalton Pike also, we know that there's a house there that's been there since the Civil War, because the one that they were living in during the Civil War, the Union troops burned it down because he came out and shot a bunch of them one day, and then they come back and burned it down.
Well, did it sustain any damage in the tornadoes that ran through there?
No, it's sitting very well. It's all the way down. It's the Hannah Farm.
Okay.
And their great grandfather was a American Revolutionary soldier, the only one buried in in Bradley County.
Okay.
They're
What
on
is
the
that
property.
house out on Dalton Pike that has that line of trees? Is that one of those old houses?
The line
you know, it's
of
beautiful.
trees.
Well, it's got
the Kirkland's home.
Is that what that is? It's
Yeah,
got when you go up that drive. Every
that's
time
Miss
I see
Kirkland.
that.
She lived at Caney Creek, matter of fact. So we
Okay.
actually recorded in that house there. Deb could tell you off the top of
I'm
her head.
sure,
I have
yeah.
to sit and listen and write it down and everything. She just does things off the
Well,
top
at
of her
least
head.
you listen. I mean,
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And I
even
know
wanna
he's
write it
not
down.
writing it down, but he's
Well, you know, one question I want to ask real quick, because this is interesting to me now. Okay.
Okay.
So those houses
You've
there,
interested.
yeah, in the Chatta Valley that were Cherokee Indian homes. You said the white man couldn't move in unless he had a
Now,
reason.
Chatta Valley wasn't.
No,
that was
White Man
Charleston.
home.
Yeah, Charleston.
Charleston, yeah.
Charleston was the.
They couldn't move in unless they had a reason. If they were married to an Indian
Yeah.
bride, then they. Okay, so when the Trail of Tears happened and they were evacuated and moved out, their homes are set there. There's other. Who got dibs on that? Like, how did people buy that? Or they say, I claim that one, I claim that. How did they go about dispersing?
Sort of bad, you know, they had surveyors came in, and that's some of the people who got the best properties.
Properties rather than
Yeah, the people who
surveyors.
surveyed, and then they were just land sales. Some of the people got it.
that is a shame.
Families who was in the American
Carpetbaggers.
Revolution was given land here through the Ocoee district.
Right.
So there was land given, there was land sold. I know that my grandfather, great grandfather, came into what's Tinga, Georgia, and Bonerges Church down in that area, and they got here before the Cherokees were moved too, but that's the edge of Georgia. Georgia may be able to. Remember, they started running them out of Georgia a lot longer. By 1838, the Cherokee Nation borders was Tennessee-Georgia border,
Right.
and then the Hiwassee River, literally. You know,
Right.
you went into America when you went across the Hiwassee River here.
Right.
So you were not even in America when you were in
America,
Bradley County at that time.
Wow.
'Cause we weren't in Tennessee. We were in the
Right, we
Cherokee
were in the
Nation.
Cherokee
It was
Nation.
a legitimate nation here.
And it's, you know, of course, we always go back and talk about that, but what a shame. I mean, if I was Indian, I'd still be mad. I mean, you know,
You might just get mad anyway.
yeah, because, and when you think about it, they, you know, they were very honorable people and left with honor.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was taken away from them. Now, we promised a lot of things, but, you know,
Not a lot of honor among the white men back in those days.
Well, you know, as growing
few.
up, you probably heard the term Indian giver.
Yes.
When growing up, I thought that meant was Indians were bad, but it's really the other way around.
Right.
An Indian giver is people who give things to Indians,
Indians and then
and take it
back.
back.
Right.
So
right.
it wasn't the Indians
it wasn't
giving.
them,
you know.
it was
Yeah,
us.
so
We have a few confessions and penance to pay for those
well,
days.
as my son
for sure.
Matthew would say about something that you do bad, you're going to have to spend a few days in hell for that. So we may have to go a few days in hell for what we did to the Cherokee Indians.
And then, of course, there is a thing called karma.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
And we
Hopefully.
and we
And
know
that's not a
what
big
that
Indian
is.
woman coming to get you.
No.
Just the bad that may happen.
Hopefully, if when we have to experience that, we'll all be gone by then, and we'll not have to worry about it. But yeah, that was a serious thing that I think was, you know, of course, we can argue that point forever, what happened there. But I want to thank you for coming by again and talking to us about something always interesting as you do.
I know.
And what's the topic for Saturday on Old Town Cleveland?
We're going to talk about Highway 64 out east there, Water Level Highway, Rambler Ridge, all that places out there, Airport Hill, and some of the Shake Shack.
The Shake Shack.
Yeah.
I know. I'm thinking about a
And
milkshake right
we'll
now.
go back a little further and talk about the Casanova.
Okay.
Yeah, you get frog legs at the Casanova.
Right from the backyard.
Well, literally that is true.
Yeah.
Right.
They grew their own frogs. They
didn't
grew
have
some
to
big
go
African
digging.
frog, and they had ponds all the way down near my grandpa's house, and they actually grew huge frogs. And then they also, if you needed
Now, I like frog legs.
if
I
you
eat
needed
them.
a nip,
There you
Oh,
go.
a nip, that was
Yeah,
a place
that
to
was
go
always a
to?
place.
well,
Well,
yeah, you went out back to the Casanova, and there could be other liquid or refreshments. I dropped it. I'm back.
Well, the good
Adult
thing is,
beverages.
you don't have to do that anymore. But
That's right.
thank you. But that's it. That's going to wrap it up for the show for today. We've had a great show. We appreciate you joining us on this Wednesday. We want to thank Ron, of course, as he does each and every Wednesday, be here with us. We also want to thank Ernest Smith and Jimmy Kilgore for being with us today. And we thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday morning on Tennessee Valley This Morning. For Kim, I'm Joe, the interesting one. We'll see ya.
It's Ron Moore.